What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fye and Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking through this NBA slate, and they're all going to be wild these days, especially with the trade deadline week, as we talked about yesterday. I was not able to execute anything too well other than getting Amen Thompson right yesterday. Just had a lot of misses and way too much AJ Green. Was my big flaw. Sheets, I know it was a frustrating night or not a disappointing night for both of us. Talk a little bit about it, and then we'll jump into today's slate.
Yeah, I mean, as I kind of jokingly said last night, even on X or whatever, it's like, you win that slate, you deserve like $100,000 bonus. You know, it's like,
yeah, right.
One of the things that happened, you didn't even know happened. So the Knicks starting lineup, they were originally going to have Precious start, and then with like 20 minutes to post time, they said no, it's going to be McBride. And so all the projections updated for McBride, and literally 4 minutes before the game started, they said, nope, change. It's Precious going to be starting, not McBride.
It's wild. I actually think, to be honest with you, I don't think I didn't care because none of it meant anything to me.
I guess.
I don't know how they ended up doing, but there was no way I was getting to either of them on that slate. I don't think, with all the other value last night. But I get it.
To give you a sense of what I ended up having to do, like as far as like trying to late swap, I ended up late swapping to a 0.4% owned like TJ McConnell.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, like 20, whatever. But
yeah.
But that's what I was reduced to by the time it got to that late game. So, but it wasn't due to lack of effort. I was around. I did my late swaps as best as possible. But when you have the combination of that Milwaukee shit show and Miles Turner stuff and everything, just kind of all these all-star game and trade stuff, it becomes tricky. So, but we're as the kids say, we're here for it. So yeah. We may as well try to figure this out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do the best we can. It's just
share my screen here.
I'm just going to throw everybody else out that reminder, though, that there is going to be some major stuff done in the next couple of days. So it's interesting because it is an advantage to late stacking, but you could end up in a really weird situation where somebody you don't even think of may be traded or something that you're stuck with like money. But still, I mean, at least we've got 2 games at 10 Eastern tonight. So if you could, there's other things to do if something like that were to occur. But I'm just saying, look out for it and look out for it everywhere, because I think you're going to see a lot of this around the league over the next, I guess until Thursday night, I guess. And even Thursday night, teams change their schedule. They said, I didn't know how many teams, they said at least several teams completely changed their flying schedule because they would be flying during the end of the trade deadline, which would have made for a very uncomfortable plane ride, they said. So they didn't say which teams they were. They said at least
you need to get somebody working for you at like the airlines or something to see.
Yeah, right. Who's on the plane?
Exactly.
the other kind of insider information.
Beat riders for American Airlines or something.
Right. All right. So we can go game by game. I actually haven't put in my entry, so I don't have my lineups yet. It was I got home late. I went to see A Complete Unknown with my son in Santa Barbara. Ended up driving home.
Was it any good?
Get back at like 2 a.m. What's that?
Was it any good?
I love Bob Dylan. I don't know if you know this. I absolutely love Bob Dylan. I've always
was the movie good? I
think for me as a kid, I think you have to love Bob Dylan to really like the movie, but also at the same time, it kind of makes you hate it because it sort of sums him up in a way that I didn't really love. But it was a really entertaining and very interesting movie and well made, but it just some things I didn't totally agree with.
Okay.
Anyway, but I also saw the Nora the other night, which I thought was tremendous, and she's actually have you seen that one?
No. What's it called?
Nora.
What's that?
It's a whole long one. It's wild. It's a little risque, that the movie, but a girl who I grew up with as a family friend is she might win Best Actress for this, so it's kind of exciting.
ANORA.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's interesting. It's a very 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 interesting movie. All right. What's up? Let's see. This is exactly what I thought we'd talk about today. The movies, but you never know with us. Anyway.
Well, the movies, we at least we know who's going to be in them.
Yeah, that's right. That's fair enough. So what do we got first? Dallas and Philadelphia.
So I think this is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I have no value here, but you have Joel Embiid, who's questionable. If he plays, he's 8,400 on FanDuel. and you're going to have to explain to me why I'm not playing him if in fact plays. He's 10K whatever he is on DraftKings, but he's 8,400 on FanDuel, and it's the first game of the day. If he's playing, I think I'm going to get in there. Aside from that, I don't really have too much in this game.
Yeah, and I'll go a step further. If he plays, I wouldn't mind using him on DraftKings because I don't know what his minutes are going to be. They say the injury thing, so they'll project him at 28 minutes or less everywhere across the board, but we really don't know what his minutes are. Like, we have no idea. And when he came back and played after missing a long time a while ago, I remember him one of the times he got hurt. One of the times he was out for a long time. He played 33 minutes in his first game back. And if you bumped him up to 33 minutes, I think he looks like a pretty interesting play. But like you, I don't have anything that naturally stands out. I don't understand why the projection isn't better for Kyrie. That one, I guess somebody could try to explain to me. Look, as much as I think that was one of the craziest things ever done, and certainly the most shocking trade I've ever seen, I don't want to underestimate the fact that Dallas has like a lot of really good basketball players now.
Sure.
I don't know how they're going to make it work exactly, especially like whenever Lively is back in the mix again too. But they've got a lot of good players. So that's why it makes it hard because all their projections aren't great. But I'll go out on a limb and say that Kyrie will be the first player of the day I'm going to mention that I'll raise his projection because 8,600. I know he hasn't been great all the time, but the ceiling is high enough. I think we should take advantage of some Kyrie here. Also, maybe he's got a little pep in his step now that it's his team. And if Embiid is out, I do think Maxey is interesting again, and I think we go back to Oubre a little bit. But if everybody who's projected to play plays, nothing would stand out from a point per dollar standpoint at first look. But I like the idea of getting some Kyrie though.
Yeah. So when are those guys going to play? By the way, did they say anything?
Which one? Oh, Davis. I knew was officially out today. I think we might see some of the other ones sooner. I don't know. With Luka, it's still he's coming back from an injury, so I don't imagine
he's not even ready to play anyway. I guess.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they just launched him right away. My guess is that he probably comes back. I mean, it would make sense after the All-Star break. That would be my best guess, but there's a chance he plays before that. And then they already put point spread a spread out for when Dallas and the Lakers play, and they already have they're taking bets on it already, which is bizarre because that game is on the 25th of February.
Yeah, we don't even know who's playing anyway. So
no, it's just hilarious to me that Vegas did that. They never do. I mean, I guess they do some stuff like that, but that was really weird to me. All right, now we can move over to Houston.
Yeah, so this is we got a couple of who is in this game that are showing up for me in value. From the Brooklyn side here, what has happened? I shouldn't say what has happened because it's not like they were ever any good, I guess. But who is playing for freaking Brooklyn? I have a couple of guys. Let me just see. Let me pull this up here. Well, Zaire Williams, obviously, he looks decent, almost 6x. We have Keon Johnson, who looks decent, 5.5x. But then I have another guy, and now I forget who he was. Who's the other guy from Brooklyn that I may not have heard of that's playing? Well, there's D'Angelo Russell, but I thought there was another guy. Let me just see real quick.
Jalen Wilson?
Oh, no, the Tosan El Buavu. Okay, that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's him, but all these just atrocious basketball players. Listen to me talking, right? You have Houston, who's legitimately good, probably going to go. I know it's back-to-back. They're probably just going to go right into Brooklyn and wax them, no? I mean, I don't know. Cam Whitmore looks okay, 3,600 as far as value goes, but why not just go keep playing what's his name every day? Was it Thompson?
Yeah.
I mean, and then we also have to see about what's his name, if Sengun's going to be in or not. I'm projecting him in for now. Oh, look at this. Tari Eason's doubtful. I had him projected as in. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be out. He doesn't. Well, okay. My guess is he'll be out. He doesn't play the back-to-backs because he's had so many injuries.
So then we're going to get Cam Whitmore, I guess.
Yeah.
And you have Steven Adams doubtful.
Yeah,
so Good grief! What do we have? Jeff Green at 3K. Is that what's going to happen here?
No. I mean,
Oh,
we'll see. Let's see if Şengün plays. I guess it would be the first part of
right.
it.
That's
But
obviously.
even if Jeff Green starts, I don't think I'd play him.
Yeah, I guess
personally.
not.
And I have some concerns about the back-to-backs with Amen. The last time they played a back-to-back, now he has the exact opposite thing earlier in the season, but I think you have to try and look at the recent history. The back-to-back they played against Atlanta, and then they won in Boston, and he hit the game winner, and it was a big high and all that stuff. He had his lowest usage rate of the season in the next game. He also played he played 30 minutes in a close game, which he usually plays like 40. That's my fear of Thompson. Having said all that, it's too big of a ceiling and too big. If people aren't going to do it, I'm all over it. If everyone's going to do it, I'll jump right off, just for this game. Just because the back-to-back, just for this game, just because I think they can win without him. And it depends on Şengün. Now, if Şengün is out also, then we have to play some Jalen Green and some Thompson, along with I think what's a pretty good play in Whitmore and Deshaun Tate. Deshaun Tate, I know that, look, maybe yesterday is not the I don't think we should use yesterday as a sample, especially because we've all know. I mean, if you pay attention to Houston for the last years, you end up with Deshaun Tate without Tari Eason is when he usually goes. And actually, even yesterday he had 20 fantasy points. He only played 21 minutes. I like the Deshaun Tate play as well. So Whitmore, Thompson, Tate, and Green are all heavily in play for me. The thing with Green, though, is I'd like Şengün to be out if I was gonna play Green, personally. But I think they're all really in play today. And then on the Brooklyn side, Zaire Williams, they're so down on bodies. It's hard not to have some interest in Zaire Williams or Keon Johnson. And for me, the other one that I always love to take my stabs at since he's back in Brooklyn would be D'Angelo Russell, who he's gotten there once in a major way. He keeps coming close. He keeps getting off to great starts and then fades out and doesn't play enough minutes. And one of these days, they've only got 10 bodies today. Maybe it's the day we get the 30-plus minute game out of D'Angelo Russell. So of all the players on the Brooklyn side, he's the only one I'm manually going to update his projections by a few points because I think that there's a chance he plays more minutes tonight. Now, I've said that before and I've been wrong. I've said it before and I've been right. So we'll see what happens, but I think we can get more than the 26 minutes he's projected for. That's just as a possibility.
So
right.
Boston, Cleveland, definitely a possible preview of something. And it's a big spread, and it's a close game, and I don't see a single guy from DFS I want to play. You like anything here?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just got distracted by somebody commented because I realized that I actually do agree that I think Dallas's projections are off, and I think that Gafford is a better play than I spoke about before. I just want to throw that out there. Sorry, but the Boston Cleveland real life game, I think you give the boost to the better players, and that would be Tatum as one, knock him up a point or something. I would give Jaylen Brown a small boost. He's actually played well against this team, so maybe even a little more than a small boost. And I think all of the top guys look pretty good for them. And then I would also take a couple shots at Porzingis. So I kind of like the idea of finding a spend, but my favorite would probably be Tatum or Brown on one side. And then Mitchell's really taken more of a back seat this year to the team's, necessary for the team to make it necessary for this team to have the success. I think in this game, I kind of have interest in he or Garland. And then in the front court, I kind of have interest in Mobley or Allen. So I'm probably going to end up with one from each side here. I'm just not sure which one yet is. I think it's a good spot to go out of your way and projections be damned kind of a thing. This is the kind, at least we know we'll get an RA effort in this game.
That's true.
So that's I don't know. That's just my take. But New York in Toronto on a back-to-back, there is definitely going to be somebody sitting for the Knicks who we don't know about yet, is my guess. A back-to-back traveling to Toronto. I know it's not that far, but you go at the customs and all that nonsense. And they played a ton of minutes last night. What are you doing with this game, Sheets?
Dude, it's freaking precious revenge, no?
It is precious revenge. We've had it before.
Oh, we have. Shit.
Yeah, we've had the precious, and it's just they just make him at a price that makes me a little uncomfortable, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So aside from that, I currently have Cat as one of my top guys on the slate. So that's that. Other Toronto guys, Knicks guys, not really seeing too much. Is this I'm about to ask if it's a bad play. Obviously, it's not a bad play. But one thing I'm noticing is there's not a lot of just pure points on this slate. You know, they don't have any of the the super studs playing today. So I guess that's why Cat's showing up pretty nice. So I do like him. Precious, if he starts again, I would play it. And I'm not really getting
5,700.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, this would be you really ignoring the projections then, because that is not like you to that's interesting. I mean, look, I'm okay with the Precious Revenge angle. I just have a hard time with that 5,700 price tag, but he can hit it. And Anunoby, for what it's worth, is doubtful. He's not officially out yet, so that projections are going to change. OG, yeah, which would be revenge for him too if he played. But OG and Josh Hart is questionable. I just get the feeling that somebody's going to sit for the Knicks today. I could be wrong, but that's just my just.
Well, did they lose yesterday or they win?
They won.
Yeah, okay. So
they won at the end in a great game. As I mentioned, I thought the Rockets could really bring it and make it tough, and they certainly did.
The Rockets won that at the end. Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I mean, unless I'm
right.
I mean, I don't know. I should be right, but I might not be. I was in the middle of a movie, so
what do I know? They don't show the Knicks on TV in New
York. It's so crazy to me that this is the one thing we can't even watch our teams play. You go to the game like, who's that guy?
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding. Let me just see what happened because I did think, Knicks pulled it out at the very end, but the Rockets were up with like a few minutes left. It was a really good game from what everyone said on the blogs I listened to, or the podcast afterwards. Did you get into what'd you say from Toronto?
Nothing.
Interesting that I've got like SaberSim has Toronto projected like through the roof.
Really? Okay.
Grady Dick. I'm trying to see, and I know Barrett's out, but maybe this is an overreaction to Barrett being out. Look, I think either way, Scotty Barnes, but the other revenge guy, and it's not really exactly like he should be vengeful, but shouldn't we be talking a little bit about Emmanuel quickly? Like, I don't know how many minutes they're going to let him play, but he's 5,700. I think I could talk myself into gambling on that one. And the guys who are currently projected great is Grady Dick, Agbaji, Podol, Barnes, all look pretty good. But I think that Quickly is one I could take a stab at least a little bit in tournaments. I mean, it's not just the revenge factor; it's the fact that he's on this Toronto team without Barrett. He's probably like an 8K player. So if you just hope for the upside of minutes, I think you've got something really you could do with that play. Let me just see, because they got him at 26. He played like since he's been back. He hasn't, he only had the 2 games. He played 15 and 17 minutes. That's not very encouraging. But he was playing early in January. He played 31, 30, 31. I think there's upside for his minutes. So I'll take a gamble on him. But I like Grady Dick from a projection standpoint as value. I like Scotty Barnes a lot. If you're not going to play the Quickly thing. Yeah,
the other guy I would bring up. I mean, he's been active recently. I just don't know. Let's maybe get a guy out. But Bruce Brown's been playing, been doing a little bit better recently.
He's been terrific.
Yeah, so throw him into the.
The only problem is with
very large mix here.
Yeah, with Quickly back, I do think that takes it hurts him a little bit. And he was great, and then the games with Quickly, he just does it like he plays like he puts up like 3 fantasy points. I think I would need Quickly somebody else to be out for him to get there for me.
So this is where I'm getting all of the value, and that's in the Miami-Chicago game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm getting even with me coming a little lower, I'm still getting a ton of BAM. Even with my projection, I have like 3 points lower than SaberSim does, and yet still I'm getting a ton. When I first looked at him, like, it's like Hero out or something like that, but no. I mean, getting a bunch of Terry Rozier, even Jovic, and we can laugh. But hey, isn't Jimmy Butler going back to Chicago? He might end up staying there. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I don't even think he's going to travel. I don't think they'll let him travel with the team.
Oh, I thought maybe they trade him to Chicago.
No, I mean it's maybe he goes back there. Who knows?
He ain't going back. No, he's going back there.
I don't
where is he going to go?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, Dallas makes the most sense to me. Now that they've got Memphis makes the most sense in reality, but Dallas makes the most sense as a team that I think he would go to. Because especially after making the AD trade and everything, if they could swindle Jimmy Butler in there,
it's true.
Then you got some real championship stuff going on there. You got the biggest team in the NBA with Kyrie in the backcourt and Clay just to shoot threes, great lockdown defender, and Grimes and Butler, and then Butler as sort of the X factor. That'd be a pretty interesting thing.
So I mean, as you can see, I mean, with early Sims here, even I'm getting 60% Bam, 50% Rozier, then even 25% of all these other guys like I forget how to pronounce them again. Jaquez, Jovic, Ketel Ware, Duncan Robinson, Haywood Highsmith. Only getting 1% of Tyler Hero. I guess Chicago just really just plays bad defense. But it's not like Miami's total is that big. I mean, it's 115.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, we're getting like above 10% on all these guys. Desamnu, Lonzo, Vooch, Kobe White. So I really never had, like you say, like Miami, Chicago game stack on my bingo card. But it looks like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know about all this stuff.
Right. I mean,
it's too many guys. Like, okay, so the ones I like the best are probably Bam, Ware, then maybe Rozier, then Jovic. I think you could easily swap Jovic and Rozier. It's a lot of guys, and Rozier's been really good the last couple of games, but he's been making shots. If you're making shots, I don't know that we should assume that you're going to keep doing that. It is a great matchup. So I guess that's the order I have them, and then I don't mind I actually like the idea of getting to Hero. I think Hero could put up 50 plus tonight, but also with Jaquez too there, there's just a lot of bodies, and I'm having trouble sort of ranking these guys. I think maybe it's wrong to have 100% of one or 80% of one. I think you kind of want exposure to all of them because it does feel a little bit like a guessing game outside of we know that Hero's going to have the ball in his hands and we know that Bam is going to, Bam and Ware are going to play significant minutes and be able to do enough inside just to get there anyway. But everyone else with Rozier, with Jovic, I feel like they're with Highsmith, with Robinson, with Jaquez. I feel like there's a lot of wide range of outcomes for those guys. So I would probably stick mostly with the Bam, Ware, Rozier, then Hero would be my guys at first look. I also think those projections are going to come down later today, just a guess. And then on the other side, I'm not sure why the Bulls don't project better. Look, one of these days they'll stay close in a game and Lonzo will play these, the 30 minutes. Hasn't been happening. I'm happy to go right back to it today, to be honest with you. And then without, with no Levine, although we've had no Levine or no White a lot of this year, White's still too cheap at 6,400 in my opinion. I just think he's too cheap. And then Giddey is certainly worth the stab at 6,900. So this might, oddly enough, Miami and Chicago might be the game to target here today. Keep in mind that Chicago might have a completely different team by the time we do our 6 o'clock Eastern show. They're trying to trade everybody. So they're in tank mode. Kobe White probably stays. Giddey probably stays, but Vooch could easily be gone by the end of the day. He's the one everybody wants, but he's got too good of a contract, so they're trying to figure out how to work things out.
So what are we doing with the non AD and at this point non Luka Lakers?
Well, DraftKings was on it, huh? They made LeBron almost 11K.
They did, but where's the big going to come from? Jackson Hayes,
and he's been good. He's been good enough to where this seems like a low projection to me.
Can you play Rui at the 5? I don't know what they're going to do here. They're going to get Christian Coloco minutes. I doubt it. But again, what they're doing is they're just kind of I don't say biding time, but they're going to try to win some games before Luka gets there, right?
Yeah, and they've for what it's worth, they're hot too. They've been winning.
Yeah, so if that's the case, I mean, I think LeBron is probably a good play at 10-8. It's going to be and then this is not exactly the guy that that's going to benefit from AD being out, but maybe we can start playing Dalton Connect again until Luka comes back. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they give all these guys some minutes until Luka gets there.
Yeah.
So why not? But like I said, DraftKings was smart. They made whatever. The algorithm just made them 10-8. I think it's totally reasonable. I talked about this earlier when we were talking about Cat. There's not a lot of points on the slate. So tell me it was at an average day, LeBron with no AD. If you left him 10K, you'd be 60% owned, right?
Right.
So at 10-8, I think is reasonable. Clippers. See, am I getting to any of this stuff? Not really. Harden, Powell, Kawhi. I mean, these are the guys I would get, but I'm not getting too much of any of them.
Okay, one of the biggest projections. So I'll get to the Clippers because that's one of my biggest. I'll change the projection maybe the most of any players tonight, and I'll explain why. But look, Max Christie's gone also. It's probably important to know he's been playing like 30+ minutes a game. So Connect can certainly fail because he's sort of just doing the shooting thing these days. But also Christie had sort of taken over, a lot of his work. So I think Connect is in play as value, and also who knows what we're going to hear by the later games. I always like the value later if you can. I also think Gabe Vincent has upside at 3,400. It's not these are not fun rosters, but they need to figure out somebody to play. You know what I mean? Max Christie's been playing a ton of minutes. AD obviously plays a ton of minutes. Those are big guys to not have in there. And they upped LeBron's price. They upped Austin Reeves. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind taking a shot on Austin Reeves even at 8,500. We just saw it pay off in a big way the other night. The problem is the Clippers just don't give up that much. So I think that the guys I end up with the most are probably going to be Rui and Connect, and it's all price enforced. That I just think that some guys are going to get there, and these guys are going to get enough opportunity at least to put up a game. Rui's projected at 33 minutes. Connect only at 23 minutes. If Connect was projected at like 27 minutes, he would look incredible. Instead, he just looks good. So it's something to certainly consider. And I don't think I'm going to plan on getting to LeBron as of right now. But it's worth noting that there's no Jokic on this slate. You know what I mean? There's no.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, we don't have these other guys. So maybe 10-8 for LeBron on this slate is not the worst. On the Clippers side, look, I was really pissed off at myself for not doing it so many times this year. I'm just going to say I think Zubac is going to is just dismantle. Oh, and by the way, Jackson Hayes should be in your pool too, by the way, 4,600. But Zubac is going to dismantle these Lakers. He kills the Lakers every time they play. The Lakers undervalued him, and I don't think it's just because of that, but also it's a rivalry game, and the Lakers bigs, for whatever reason, he killed AD too, like when AD was there. He is going to put up 50+. Zubac is my favorite tournament play of the night. I think this projection is a joke. I'll put him at 42 instead of where do we have him at 36?
Oh, you put him at 42. You're going to get him.
I'm going to get him, and I want to get him. And by the way, there's plenty of things I could swap to if I wanted to do something quote unquote safer. But somebody tell me what I understand. Kawhi is back, and Kawhi is back in the mix. Kawhi was back in the mix the last game when Zubac put up 56. Sorry, 3 games ago when he put up 56, and 55 the game before that. It's like every game he either puts up 30-something or 50-something. And this is a matchup he should be able to dismantle. He also, like I said, he dominates this Laker team. He completely does. He has every time since he's not been there. Love Zubac tonight. He is my favorite get different play of the slate. At this moment, of course, things could change in the next 7 hours or whatever. And then I think that I think Kawhi is just almost scratching the surface of being a play here. And I think James Harden is almost scratching the surface. But if I'm going to take that big of a stand on Zubac, I think I'm just going to let that roll. But I really think that, like, if I was playing, I think Zubac might be in like half my lineups tonight if I play 150 even. I really like that play. So wanted to. I haven't had that kind of a feeling about it, other than my Amin Thompson love yesterday, that I really felt so crazy. What is going on here with these projections?
Right.
And I think Zubac is the guy. All right, Indiana in Portland.
So I mean, I guess the rumor is that Miles Turner is going to be traded. Is that the story?
They've been this story for the last 6 years, and I can't. And just like everyone else, I can't figure out why Indiana would want to trade him. They've got a nice mix going. They made the conference finals last year, but he's in every trade rumor that I hear. Sorry, go ahead. And he might be a Laker.
The problem, though, I mean, like, is if he's out, for whatever reason, and you get Thomas Bryant starting at 3,200,
Yep.
You're going to want it. So, and the game is like 100 hours after everything else. So you're going to have to figure that out. Now, what you could do, by the way, and this is an unintended benefit of playing Zubac, by the way. If you played Zubac in the 10 o'clock game, along with somebody from this other 2 games or whatever,
yeah,
and then you get the Turner news late, you could decide to swap him and somebody else for Turner. You know what I mean? For Bryant and somebody else.
Yeah, like, instead of Zubac and Connect, you end up with Halliburton and
something like that, and you'll be able to intelligently tell, what everybody else has done and what you know what I mean, and all that stuff. So that's another benefit of playing somebody like that. The other thing people might end up doing, Bobby, is if the projection does what I think it might do, if there's like rumors that Jackson Hayes might start or something like that, I think Jackson Hayes might end up being highly projected. I think. I don't know. Then you could end up pivoting one or the other with Bryant there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if Turner's out, you got a starting center at 3,200. That's a tough fade. But the other thing, if Turner's out, I mean, you could probably get a better game out of Siakam. Maybe a couple more rebounds there. Mm-hmm. Halliburton seems perfectly cheap to me, by the way, at 8,500. He was wasn't he 10K for a while? I don't know, but
he hasn't been that this year. But yeah, in the past season he got.
So 8,500 seems perfectly reasonable. Portland guys. Was Ayton? Is there a trade room with Ayton? I don't know, but
I've heard a few.
Oh yeah, so I got it right now. What's that?
He smashed last night.
Oh, did he?
I think he did. I thought he was on his way to, certainly.
So right now I have Ayton, Abdi, and Simons is the ones to keep my eye on. But again, this is a game where I actually keep my eye on. I have like 30% of both Abdi and Ayton. So it's just kind of ridiculous to predict what you're going to have now with all the news that's going to come in. But listen, I think it's still healthy to kind of think about it. So Turner, you gotta figure out a plan for that. Hopefully news comes out before then, but I don't think there's any way it comes out before the 8 o'clock game. I mean, before these first set. So you are going to have to make a decision. I think that I really like your the idea of playing Zubac to get for starters. To get get things going.
Well, I'll tell you this: the other one who's being way under projected is DeAndre. So I think you should be loading these back games. Both Indianapolis and Portland are on a back-to-back, and you've got the Turner trade rumors. You've got every single player on Portland other than like Sharp, Scoot Henderson, and no, even Simons is. So other than Sharp and Scoot Henderson and Avdia, well, even Avdia might be, but everybody on Portland is up for grabs right now.
Yeah,
they're all for sale. And by the way, they're playing really good basketball right now. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA. Now, I don't mean that as like one of the best like bad teams. No, I mean one of the best teams. They win every game. Ayton put up 58.5 last night. I think he's way too cheap. I mean, you look at this game log for Ayton for his last 58, 37, 41, 46, 46. Those are his last 4 games. And we've got him projected at 36. I think it's a very low, and against one of the fastest teams in the NBA. I think this is a very low projection on 8, and I'm bumping him up a couple points also. So I think you're going to have room. And by the way, I expect guys to sit anyway, just because the back-to-back. Portland doesn't generally play as many guys in the back-to-back because they're sort of in between, like trying to get good and tanking. But that also just means, and they've got a lot of good players, so they get other bumps. So I think you do yourself well if you did late stack a little bit and force in the Aytons, the Zubaches that could easily become Thomas Bryant or whatever. I think getting some exposure to the Indy side with Halliburton, bumping up his projection a tiny bit. I think getting some exposure to Siakam is probably the right way to play this slate if we don't have any news. Because I mean, let's say Miles Turner sits, then of course we're going to want to play Thomas Bryant. And you're going to want another position other than just the center or utility available, but that's why I like the idea of some Halliburton and some Siakam, and on on the Lakers side, you mentioned the LeBron thing. It makes even more sense if you approach it with this angle, because you never know what might happen in these later games. But for me, I'm going to bump up Rui a decent amount. I'm going to bump up Dalton Connect a little bit, just because I want flexibility going into that late part of the slate. I get the feeling this is where the slate's won if we don't get news early in the day that some of these guys are out. So maybe overloading each of these games and bumping up most of the decent players a point or two is a pretty reasonable idea to me.
And again, I would one of the things again that I would definitely, not definitely, but in the earlier games is to play Embiid if he's in.
Yeah, I agree. Especially on FanDuel where he's 8,400, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, we'll be live at 6 Eastern. See you guys then. And yeah, don't forget to hit a like when you see the video. And yeah, anything else, Sheets?
No, sounds good.
All right. Good luck, everybody.